Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of our die sets. This is die number 1153, the Tool Charms, and you can check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. So my favorite supply for making realistic tool charms is a silver mirror cardstock, and there's lots of companies that make it. This particular one happens to be from the Paper Cut. Okay, another way to make them look very realistic is to take advantage of the emboss feature of these dies. So I'm using some temporary removable tape to hold the 4 dies onto my silver mirror cardstock. Embossing a wafer-thin die is a 2-step process. You either die cut first and then emboss, or emboss first and then die cut, because the sandwiches are different in your machine. They involve a rubber mat and probably maybe a little bit thicker cutting pad like you see here. It depends on your machine, so you'll want to check YouTube or with your machine's manufacturer to find out what is the sandwich for embossing a wafer-thin die. But with a brand new die, I suggest that you do the embossing step first, because it's really easy to sit those dies right back into the grooves, change out the sandwich in your machine, and run them back through for die cutting afterwards. But you can also die cut first and emboss after, so it's a 2-step process. It's whatever feels most comfortable for you. So I went ahead and embossed all of them out of the silver, even though on the screwdriver I'll probably replace the handle color. But on the crescent wrench, it's going to remain completely silver, and you can see all those details that come out when you do the emboss step. And then as another option, you can use the stencil feature to add some detail to the little dials, that are on a crescent wrench. And I'm using a Sharpie pen because I'm going on mirror cardstock, so I wanted a permanent pen for that. But just using the die as a stencil, then I can add that detailing. Okay, so taking a look at the other 2 tools, there is the hammer, and you can see that it adds all that detailing to the hammer head and the handle by doing the emboss feature. And then on the saw, you get that raised line on the saw itself. Now the tools look great out of just silver, but there is an extra little die to be able to do the handle of the saw, and then for the screwdriver and the hammer, you just go back through with the same dies and cut off the handle part. So on all of these pieces, I just went to scraps and added some score tape to the back so that they would be stickers and they would be cushioned so that they'll kind of emboss for free. I don't have to go back through with an embossing sandwich because the cushion of the score tape will actually push the paper up through those dies a little bit so that I'll get the embossed feature without having to do the 2-step process. So what's nice is because of the score tape on the back, they are now stickers, and it also sort of gave me a little bit of embossing without having to do the 2-step process. Now, completely optional, but if you want to add a little ink detailing to these pieces, I just stick it to my nonstick craft sheet and then just kind of rub some ink around it, and then it'll give it some detailing and highlighting. Okay, and then now I have a handle for the saw that is a sticker. So that's going to stick very nicely to that mirror cardstock and just line it up and it will fit perfectly. So here is that finished saw charm. If I wanted to use it as a standalone embellishment and not have it be a charm, it's easy to just trim off that hole at the top. Okay, for the hammer, I only care about the handle, so it doesn't matter that I didn't get the entire hammer with my die cut. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off just the handle portion. Once again, that is a sticker, and once again, if I wanted to highlight that with a little bit of ink, completely optional, but then I just place that on my nonstick sheet and then rub a little ink around it. And you might also try your blending brushes, so it doesn't really matter if you use a foam applicator or a brush. Once again, that is a sticker, so it's very easy to place it over the top of the silver version of the hammer and change the handle color. So these really are quick and easy assembly. Okay, and then the final tool is the screwdriver. You have that emboss feature to add the lines to the handle, but then you also have the option to use it as a stencil. So that could mean with a pen, or you can sponge ink through the die if you want to really highlight those lines on the handle. Okay, and then once again, this is a sticker, so I'm going to peel that up. And I'm going to take off the hole at the top and the entire lower part of the tool and just use the handle. And once again, completely optional, but maybe just adding a little bit of ink around the edges. And then just like with the hammer, I place my sticker handle over the top of the full charm, and then that screwdriver charm is complete. Okay, always a good idea to have a rag handy to wipe off a die if you've sponged through it with ink. Okay, so here are the finished tool charms. One way you could use your tool charms would be for a Father's Day card. We do have a new Happy Father's Day greeting. So the outside of this card is created using our circle tag book, but then I substituted for the guts our flower pivot panels, and then instead of putting flowers on it, just added those tool charms. And then for the word dad, I used our alphabet set. My dad is a retired mechanic, so this is going to be perfect for his card this year. So a feature of all of our charms is that when you want to use them as a standalone element, you just have to trim off the hole, and then they just become whatever the element is. And I wanted to show the sizing on these is really perfect for those double stacked ball animals. I love to end assembly videos with cards from the team, so here's a Happy Father's Day Upsy Daisy card by Lois Bach. This card by Karen Aiken has lots of reveals. So it's a mini slimline. It has our slim flaps and frames inside. The tool charms are sprinkled throughout and even animated on the mini pops. Everyone on the team was blown away by this brilliant idea by Sandy Diller, where she took the tiny house pop-up and converted it into a toolbox and then filled it with the tool charms. In fact, she inspired Kelly Booth to try it as well. So that's the tiny house pop-up, just converted into a toolbox and then filled with the tool charms. The tool charms are available at a lot of your favorite local and online retailers, as well as on our website, KarenBurniston.com. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com, where you can find out information about purchasing these dies, as well as links to all my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.